Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. The U.S. stock market has about 13 minutes until it will be finished trading today. So we're just about 13 minutes ahead of the close. For a second day in a row, the indexes are struggling. I personally don't think it is anything to be alarmed over. I think it is mostly on uncertainty, and you've got some uncertainty going on in the market itself with some of the president's actions and some of the things going on that are very market specific. You've got some uncertainty with some things that are less market specific. They're indirectly tied to the market, maybe a little bit less market specific. Iran would be the biggest one of those things. There's still some concerns over what's going on in Venezuela. And the political unrest that we're seeing in Minneapolis and in some other big cities with ICE. The markets don't like uncertainty. The markets they tend to react poorly to uncertainty. And I look at these last two trading days, assuming we don't change a lot in the next 12 minutes. Now, granted, everything is off of its session low, but still down pretty far. I mean, when you look at the NASDAQ right here and say it's off its session low, yeah, it's spent a fair amount of the day lower than what it is right now, but it's still kind of low. It's still down 280 points, a little over 1%. You look at the S&P, the broader market, as everyone loves to refer to it as. The S&P, again, off of its session lows, which is good, but not by a long ways. It's still down 0.75%. The Dow has managed to come back a fair amount. I know it's down 149 points still, but only 0.33%. And the Dow was down much deeper than that at one point in time today. I know at least one time today I saw it down over 300 points. And so to only be down 150 points now, it's come up, halfway back from its lows of the session, assuming at one point in time it wasn't even lower than the 300 that I saw. And I don't remember exactly where I saw it, 300 and some change, a little bit more than 300 points down. So, even the Dow has managed to come back quite a bit. But I look at these last couple of trading days, and I've got a chart up specifically of the S&P 500, and this doesn't give me a lot of alarm. We saw a little bit more of a dramatic pullback right here, and then it reversed, and you had a really, really strong week. We saw 4 days in a row of sell-off here, and then we had 6 of the next 7 days that were really strong market moves to the upside. Once again, the S&P 500 setting a new record. Today, a second day in a row that things are down, but even if it was another down day tomorrow, you could very quickly come back from this. Some of the story is the credit card companies and this proposal or order by Trump that they lower interest rates for 1 year down to 10%. I mentioned, I won't get on that a lot. I mentioned yesterday that I think it would be great if credit card companies did that of their own accord, but to have the government compel them to do it, I am not a fan of that. I like less government intervention, not more. There are occasions, rare occasions, when I think the government needs to step in a little bit more, but this is not one of those situations. I'd rather the government, quite honestly, just stay out of it. But it is what it is. You look at our watch list of companies, you've got a lot of red. AMD is up a little bit. Coin is up a little bit. Caterpillar, I don't have it on here. I don't know why. Caterpillar has been up and it's been down, a lot more down than up today. The last time I looked, it was up just slightly, and now it's up $2.30. It was up about 5 cents a share when I looked at it. If you look at the 1-day chart on Caterpillar, you can see that it's started kind of flat, went way down. I don't know what that one little spike was there, but then it's very steadily made its way back up and into positive territory with just about 8 minutes left to go in today's trading session. So You've got a handful of companies that we follow and that we like and that we're trading that are doing well today, in spite of the markets overall being down, the indexes being down. So I mentioned Coin. It's been up as high as $10, $11 a share today, only up $3 right now, but still $5.71 puts it well above the $2.50 a share that we need it to be at. And if you haven't already got out of Coin, I think tomorrow will give you that opportunity to get out. Um, I mentioned Caterpillar. It's not on this list right here, but moving down, NVIDIA is off today. Palo Alto Network is only down 56 cents a share right now. It's been down as much as I think $3 a share at one point in time today. If you look at the there's the high and low of the day. Been as low as 187.95, as high as 192.59, just a little above 190 right now. If Palo Alto Networks finishes the week above 190, we're guaranteed a maximum possible profit in our trade. But I don't like the fact that it dipped down as much as it did today. It took off to the upside today and then immediately fell, had a rebound, fell farther. And then it's kind of, with the rest of the market, sort of gradually made its way back up to where it's only down a little bit. I would say with Palo Alto Network, if you have not done so already, see if you can get out with a break even. I think it's just better to maybe not stay in this trade if we can find a way out of it quickly. I think Palo Alto Network is more likely than not to rebound a little bit in the next 2 days, but with only 2 days left to trade in this trade, it just makes me nervous how far it dipped today. Although technically it is all crossed over to the bullish side technically. So maybe it finds some momentum in the next couple of days, gets back up by 195. But I'm going to recommend that if you find a way to get out of Palo Alto Network, break even or better, I would say get out, break even or better. Coin, I think we're going to reach a nice profit if you're not already out of that one. A couple of things that to pay attention to in the next 2 trading days. We had our PPI data yesterday. We had our CPI data this morning, or vice versa. Sorry, reverse that. We had our CPI 2 days ago, PPI this morning. PPI came in good in a month over month, but not so good in the year over year. So it's kind of a mixed PPI report. Let me bring up my other web page that I typically go to for PPI data. Let me bring up this one. So yeah, kind of a mixed bag on PPI. You had month over month, the consensus was it was expected to be 0.3%, came in at 0.2. Year over year, it was expected to be 2.7. It came in at 3.0. So higher year over year, lower month over month. When you get into the core, they didn't set an expectation for core, but 3, kind of in line with the non-core, and 2 kind of in line with the non-core for month over month and year over year. So really just kind of because it was a mixed report, I think you could call it kind of a benign report. It just didn't do anything. It didn't really do anything to move the needle on the betting market, thinking that we are not getting an interest rate. You still got 95% of the fund's future Fed rate betting market, so to speak. No, that's just a nickname for it, but 95% think we're not going to get a rate cut at the meetings at the end of this month. 5% think that we will. You jump out to March and you still have a majority that think there's going to be no change. April, you start to get, when you start to add up all of the betting market that thinks there will be a change, you're at least getting closer to 50-50. It's more like 60-40 right now. And then when you get to June, that's when you see that most people think we'll get a rate cut by the time we get to June. I actually think if something doesn't change to where we end up with a rate cut in January, I actually think we will get one in March. I'm in this 26% camp right here versus the 72%, 73% camp that thinks we won't get a rate in March. I think we will get a rate in March. I think we'll get CPI and PPI numbers both in February and in March that show improvement. And I think with that will come a rate cut in March. Now the other thing, see Palo Alto Network gone positive now, so and just a few minutes left to trade. But a couple of things to watch. There's going to be a Supreme Court decision handed down anytime now on the tariffs. There's a lot of talk about what will or won't happen if the court rules one way versus the other way. A lot of people think that the courts are going to rule that the president cannot unilaterally slap a tariff on all countries at a certain percentage, but I think they're going to preserve the right for him to individually assess each company, and if he or each country, and if he decides any one country is in a trade imbalance or that tariffs need to be used somehow, I think they're going to preserve the right for him to do that. And even that is kind of a mixed picture. I think the biggest question is going to be whether a Supreme Court decision comes with any order to pay back tariffs that are already collected. If it does, that you could see the markets sputter on that, and this 2-day sell-off could turn into a much broader sell-off. Now that might end up being good for coin. The trade we have open in coin could really benefit from that, because uncertainty in the broader market could mean a flight to safety, with safety being perceived as Bitcoin and digital currency and things like that. So keep an eye on that in the next day or two. A lot of people were expecting that decision on tariffs to be handed down as early as last Friday. Well, Friday came and went, no decision. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday have come and gone now with no decision. So you're going to hear continued talk about it'll probably be tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll probably be Friday. When the decision comes, it's going to be interesting to see analysts pick it apart and make a determination on what it all means. But I think the immediate impact, if that decision comes down the way I believe it's going to come down, I think the immediate impact is going to be a little bit of concern and nervousness and sell-off in the market. Although that could be balanced with some people thinking, oh, this is good for Wall Street because companies are going to get their money back that they've been paying in tariffs. So even that decision that I think is going to come, while it could spell a little bit of turmoil, maybe like I was mentioning at the very beginning of this podcast, just the some certainty coming back into the market could offset the initial turmoil over, oh no, we have to pay all this money back. So it'll be interesting. Keep an eye on that. For the rest of this week, I think tomorrow, Philadelphia Fed, we may or may not, that may or may not be a market mover. I kind of think that it won't. Jobless claims will play into the picture of rate hikes or rate decreases, rate cuts. I don't think hikes are on the table, but rate cuts. If the job market, if the employment picture continues to appear weak, you could see the needle move a little bit over here on whether people think we're going to get a rate cut or not. I think it would have to be like a devastating job report to move this needle at all, but we'll see what happens. All in all, as far as our trades go, we're looking good. Taiwan Semiconductor will report tomorrow. That's the other open trade we have on the triple play side, but I think we're going to end up in good shape on Palo Alto Networks and Palo Alto Networks as well as Coin. I think we're going to end up looking good on both those. Looks like Palo Alto Network finished just barely in the green, but that's better than finishing in the red where it spent the majority of the day. And then Coin, let's see, where we finished on Coin. The markets are closed now for about a minute. Coin, we ended up $3.17 and just giving back a fraction of that in aftermarket trading. And then Caterpillar, if you're not already out of Caterpillar, I know a lot of you are, but if you're not already out of Caterpillar, Cat is looking great. Another day where it ended up a little bit after spending the majority of the day to the downside, finished strong and finished to the upside. If you're not already out of Caterpillar, you should be, or you should be very, very close. So all in all, looking good. I'm going to wrap it up right there. Hope you had a great Wednesday. Hope you have a good Thursday. I'll be back around the close of the market tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye.